So I've decided to start at the back for this race, and it led to some really great and extremely close battles, and a little bit of chaos. It was even down to the very end of the final lap, so make sure you watch until the end of the video to find out how the race ends. Enjoy the video. So as I said in the intro, we're going to be starting near the back of the grid in this race. So we're starting in P9 out of P12, I believe, and already you can see we actually got off to a pretty good launch off the line there. And as you can see, everyone is in the Mazda Roadster, which I believe, at least with the current tires, it's not that good with the handling. So as we go through the first corner, we tried to make a move around the outside of the Spaniard, but yeah, he has a bit of an advantage because he obviously has the inside line. You can see he's even nearly overtook the Russian there, is turning on his blinkers, but we get a better exit than the Spaniard because we had the outside line, which means we can try and go for a move through the S's here, through this fun section of corners. Which is around the outside of the second corner, which is a little bit risky because if you touch the grass, you could end up like the Belgium there. And as we go through the hairpin, we actually get the move done on the Spaniard there, and we send it down the inside of the Belgium, who thankfully sees me and leaves me enough space on the inside. And as we round the final corner, you can see there's a car going slowly.
Hello there.
And there's a car that spun off, so that's 2 free positions for me. So already, just through lap 1, this very short lap, we've already made our 4 positions up into P5 already. So as we go through the first corner, you can see the Belgium, who we're going to have really great battles with later on, is really close behind me there. And you can see there's a group of 3 ahead of us that are battling. And as we go through the S's, once again, pretty similar to what happened last time. But thankfully, we were ahead of him before we got to the second corner, so no risk of going wide there. As we go through the hairpin, down in the braking, you can see the German there sends it up the inside of the Russian. Plenty of contact between them. Russian goes wide. I actually have a bit of oversteer on the exit, but then the Russian turns in. He hits the rear of his car, the front of my car. He loses control of his car, and that's a free position for me. So up into P4. Pretty great start so far, if you ask me. The Belgium guy, though, is still right behind us, so it's going to be pretty tight with him until the end. So as we go through the first corner, we get really close to the back of the German there. We're slowly edging closer, and you can see the 2 leaders there, the South African and the Spaniard, are fighting it out, which means we have a chance at maybe catching up to them, possibly. Who knows? So as we go through the S's, the Belgium guy is still right on my tail, and maybe even close enough to go for a move through the hairpin here. But we were very late on the brakes, well, later than the German guy anyway, so we sent it up the inside of him. Bit of a risky move, but thankfully nothing too major happens, just a bit of contact, and we get the move done. So a bit skipping a little bit forward here to near the end of lap 4, or the start of lap 5. And you can see we've managed to catch up quite a lot to the Spaniard and the South African there. And as we go through the first corner, you can see the Spaniard is going to try and go for a move on the South African. He's going to send it down the inside, and he's going to get the move done. We get really close, and we go for, frankly, a bit of a stupid move there. I was just a bit too greedy with the position there. So a lot of contact between me and the South African. I get a terrible exit. You can see the Russian gets ahead of me. The Belgium is trying to go for a move there, but he drops back a bit, even though I left him space. And the South African comes back at us, and he gets the position back to P3. So I'm sorry to the South African, bit of a stupid move from me, kind of my fault. But putting our attention now to the current battle with the Belgium, who's still right on our tail as we go through the main straight here. You can see he's well in the slipstream, right behind me, right on my bumper, possibly close enough to go for a move in the first corner. And as we do go through the first corner, thankfully we cover off the inside. He doesn't have enough momentum to go down the inside. And we get really close to the back of the South African again, who's going for a bit of a wide line through there, which could mean he could get the better exit though. We give him a bit of a bump as well, maybe a slight bump from the back. As we go through the section of corners here, you can see the Belgium trying to go for a move around the outside here, so a bit of a switcheroo here to what happened the first lap, but we defend the move successfully. And as we go through the hairpin, he's too far behind to go for another move, and on the exit you can see the South African there gets a lot of oversteer, which means he could get a bit of a bad exit. And as we go through the first corner, just speeding forward a little bit here up until the S's here, which is where the race starts to go south a little bit for me. We go a little bit wide, touch the grass, lose control of the car, thankfully regain it before the corner so we're able to brake, and somehow magically we don't lose any positions to the Belgium or anyone behind him. We do get a half a second time penalty, however, which will be served on the next lap, which is the final lap. Thankfully though, we're going to serve it before the finish line. Right before the finish line is the penalty zone. You can see it there and where the finish line is. So that means that the penalty is not going to get rounded up to 1 second. Normally if you cross the line with a half a second time penalty, it gets rounded up to 1 second. But now our goal is to try and keep a gap of at least half a second to the car behind us, which the Belgium is right on my tail, as you can see in the radar. So it's going to be a bit difficult to do unless we maybe go for a move on the South African there. So as we go through the hairpin, down in the braking, really close up to the back of the South African, we send it down the inside with a bit of a late move again. You can see behind us though, the South African and the Belgium have a bit of contact, and the South African doesn't exactly get the best of exits out of that corner. So as we serve the half a second time penalty, the Belgian will get ahead of us, well deserved from him, but the South African though was a bit too far behind thanks to that exit, and that saved us from dropping down to P5. So we just missed out on the podium, but also still a very good race from P9 up into P4. Really happy with that one. I genuinely enjoyed that race, and I hope you guys have enjoyed that too. And if you have, don't forget to like the video, and also don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all in the next video. Goodbye.